Apparently not. Hey people, it's Tuesday, February the 9th. It is 1:21 in the afternoon. And I just left Dundas West subway station. And I'm going to be taking a walk down this north-south section of Dundas Street to Roncesvalles. And I'll continue along Roncesvalles down to where it ends at Queen Street West. Just crossing Bloor Street. It's looking west. And then east towards downtown. So as I said, right now we're on Dundas Street West, which just for this relatively short section runs north-south, as it's mostly a street that runs east-west. But this is where it swings up from south of Bloor Street and crosses over Bloor Street and then continues on to the north of Bloor Street. It's kind of a little bit confusing, but if you look at a map, you'll see what I'm talking about. Roncesvalles Avenue itself begins after Bloor Street veers back towards the east again, just up ahead. And it's been about a year since I did a video walking around in this neighborhood. Last time I did it was before lockdown measures came into effect, when life was still relatively normal. And last time I walked on the east side of the street, so this time I'll walk on the west side just to change it up a bit. Although admittedly the west side of the street is not as interesting as the east side further down. It's a fairly pleasant day. There's very little wind. It's around minus 3 degrees Celsius, I believe. Here's where Dundas Street veers back eastward. And here's where Roncesvalles begins. This is a very popular West End neighborhood. It was traditionally a Polish neighborhood, and it still is to some degree. Lots of the businesses on the commercial strip up ahead still cater to the Polish community. But it's also been somewhat, I won't say gentrified, but it's been somewhat settled by just young urban professionals who aren't necessarily of Polish background, who just like nice urban neighborhoods with lots of amenities. So it's transitioning from kind of an old school ethnic neighborhood to just more of a popular destination neighborhood in the city. There's lots of restaurants and cafes, specialty stores, bookshops, everything that people want in an interesting neighborhood. Houses are very expensive around here, obviously. Most of the housing stock here consists of detached single-family homes. As well as numerous semi-detached houses. And some new condo developments have been popping up. I jokingly like to call this neighborhood the dog walking district, because it seems like the last couple of times I shot a video through here, I saw dozens of people walking dogs. I don't know if we'll see that many today. Here's a landmark of the neighborhood, the Review Cinema. This is one of the older remaining independent cinemas in the city. This is another local landmark for live music. And we have a record shop. It's kind of funny. I guess the guy is selling those items using the parking meters as sort of like mannequins. There's a popular pizza chain here in the city. And I said like that the other side is more interesting because this side does not tend to have a lot of commercial storefronts for this section of the street. They're mostly on this side. But we can still get a shot of them all. It's kind of funny, there aren't too many other major streets I can think of that are like this, with all the retail on one side and residential on the other side. Most commercial streets in Toronto, of course, have retail on both sides. You gotta look at some of the housing. We have the neighborhood home hardware. There are some nice older apartment buildings in the neighborhood. I think that was their first dog walker. They even have dogs on their real estate signs. Lebanon Express. There's lots of fruit stands and small groceries along this stretch. Number of independent bookshops. I'm not sure how many of these places are actually still kicking after all the lockdowns over the last year. Hopefully they'll all come back to life. I think restrictions are going to be relaxed in Toronto within the next 2 weeks. I think February 22nd. I think in-store shopping will be permitted again in non-essential retailers with 50% capacity, or maybe it's 25. I think 50% is for grocery stores, which it already has been, and retailers will be 25% capacity. Which is fairly low, but definitely better than nothing, right? There's a nice old school variety store. St. Vincent de Paul. It's a rather fortress-looking church. A Roman Catholic church. the streetcars are not running for the time being. The 504 King streetcar route runs up here. Looks like they have buses running now. They installed bike lanes along the street several years back. They're not protected, but, well, they are somewhat protected with this curb, I suppose. Another fruit stand. Looks like that convenience store bit the dust. I don't know if that was pandemic related or not. Kids Theater. Roncesvalles United Church for lease. I guess it's not Roncesvalles United Church anymore. Or is it? There's another old school corner store. I have a soft spot for these old corner stores. That's the smallest, I think, Sobeys Urban Fresh I have ever seen. I'm not sure how far back it goes inside, but usually they're a much larger format than that. That's truly an urban Fresh. Scooter girl toys. I don't know if that's politically correct in 2021. Of course, I say that jokingly. This block of storefronts here is a very oft-repeated look. On many of Toronto's commercial streets, you'll find identical buildings to this. A couple floors of residences with that same style. There's another one just up ahead a little bit. You'll see those on other streets like College Street, Bloor Street. There's neighborhood Gabby's. I've stated in other videos that almost every popular commercial strip in the city has a Gabby's. St. Casimir's Roman Catholic Church. 1952. That's not terribly old. Most of the buildings in this neighborhood date from well before then, like more like around the turn of the 20th century. It's another fruit stand. And yet another one. That is a neat old apartment building. And this was an old theater, but it's been used as a small grocery for decades now. I remember over 20 years ago I used to go in there to get bottles of peach juice, which I couldn't find anywhere else. I had a friend who lived in this neighborhood, and I'd always stop into there to get some bottles of this delicious peach juice they had, which I couldn't find anywhere else. Have not seen hardly any dogs this time.
Tato, gdzie ty jesteś?
Okay, the streetcar is running. Guess that bus was just supplementing the route. Yet another fruit market. And this apartment building here is actually where my friend lived back in the day when I would run up to buy the peach juice. It's another chain of convenience stores you'll see around the city. Here's a neat little map of the neighborhood. For rent. I wonder what apartments go for in this building. I quite like it. The Aristocrat. I'll have to look that up. Here's an uncharacteristic sort of plaza style strip of businesses with front parking. And Burrito Boys, this just went in within the last 5 years. It's my favorite burrito chain, so I'm glad that they put a location in this part of town for whenever I'm around and I have that burrito craving. Yes, looking up Queen Street into Parkdale. After I'm finished this walk, I'll begin another video walking around Parkdale. So that's the end of Roncesvalles Avenue. But I think I will just walk up here to this cool little pedestrian bridge and end the video over here. That's the Humber Bay Shores skyline in Etobicoke. And the Gardiner Expressway. And that's looking east towards downtown, which we can't see from here. So I'm going to wrap this up. Hope you enjoyed this walk down Roncesvalles Avenue. If you did, please consider subscribing to my channel. Like, share, comment, tell your friends and your family. And be sure to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos. And I'm under K Continuum on Instagram. I've also started doing live streams. I've done a couple so far and they've been really fun. So keep an eye out for those. I'll be doing more in the very near future. So thanks for watching. And be sure to keep checking back because as always, I will continue.